Hey guys, hope everybody that's watching this video is doing good. It's just gonna be me, Dotto, here today because Nano has a ton of stuff going on in his normal life, lots of personal stuff. But today was going to be a normally scheduled podcast upload, but due to some unfortunate events, that being the passing of Akira Toriyama, it just didn't feel right, at least not without a monologue at the beginning of the episode. But even then, I kind of lead towards the fact that, in a lot of these podcasts, me and Nano, just to be a bit contrary and just because it makes us laugh, like maybe we'll say something, and I'm not saying this happened in the video, but maybe we'll say something like, oh, Dragon Ball can be stupid, it can be this. Again, just to be funny, but I just didn't want that tonal inconsistency between something that should be treated seriously like this and something more akin to just a joke, something said in passing. So I decided to kind of turn this into just my place to talk about what the works of Akira Toriyama meant to me, and mostly just to use this as a place to be like very grateful. Honestly, I want this video to have more of a positive feeling, just because I feel like I ain't gonna lie, I got most of my crying out yesterday, and I mean, I guess we can just start with that. I have never typically been one to, well, cry first of all, but like, especially with the passing of somebody not immediate close to me, like friend, family, something like that. It's never been enough to stir me to emotion. But man, this one, it came at me in waves. When I first stumbled across the information, I was like, wow, that's sad. That's pretty much that was my first reaction. I was like, that's sad. He's a legend, and I can't believe we lost somebody that spread so much joy across like the entire world. And then as I sat back and really thought about it a lot, I just started breaking down. And sorry if I go into too much detail. I really want to be raw because I think it captures like how this information hit me, because I sat back and the more I thought about it, I ended the night feeling like a part of me died. And I made, a few posts on Twitter here and there, just expressing how sad I was and why I was grateful to feel as sad as I was. But just to go into that, it just felt like, while Akira Toriyama's a person I've never met, I've never been able to talk with him. It would have been awesome. Don't get me wrong. I would have taken an opportunity to take that. He's a legend. But it's just that aura of Dragon Ball, and even beyond Dragon Ball. I think I've told this story on the podcast before. But I would pick up things like Dragon Quest or Chrono Trigger because it had his style, and it's the coolest thing of all time, man. I jokingly told my girlfriend, because she does art and she draws. I was like, yeah, you're my second favorite artist because Akira Toriyama is number one, as a joke, obviously. But I mean, to be honest, I mean, it's true. His art style, it's just like, it encaptures like adventure. And it's kind of the reason that whenever I play like adventure games, I like to make my character like as small as the character creation will let, just because I think it matches his art style. It's something so like adventurous and like pure hearted, and just like, I keep saying adventurous, but just the spirit of adventure, I think it's what he does best. And you can really see that in like the Dragon Quest art, especially, I think captures the feeling of adventure really good. The early Dragon Ball stuff, or even the iconic Trunks picture, man, like that one also has like a really good feeling of like adventure in it. So his art's always been something that just really resonated with, I think, obviously a lot of people, but with me, it was something that resonated deeply. And that's just the art. When it comes to Dragon Ball, I talked about it in my tweet, but it really is just like, I don't know. It's not like Dragon Ball. The way I came to finally feel about it, like when my feelings resolved, is I basically came to the feeling that Dragon Ball has kind of always been like this imaginary friend that I've kept around throughout my entire life. This sounds so stupid. Let me see if I can walk you through my train of thought and why it hits so deep. But it almost felt like throughout my entire life, no matter what, I had the emotional crutch of knowing that Dragon Ball is like there. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's there. There's something good in the world that I really like, and it's inspiring and it's fun. And I feel like it connects me and uplifts me and just makes me, it makes me, no matter what happened, no matter like if I'm getting bullied at school or, I'm just failing grades, it's like I've just always found ways to connect with people through Dragon Ball, through that kind of stuff. In an incountable amount of ways. So to feel like I lost the person that gave me that gift, it was just it brought me down, man. It was crazy. I was crying. I was texting Rhyme, Dion, pretty much everybody, just Nano. I was just texting everybody. I was like checking in, making sure people were doing good, and just being really honest, because I didn't want to hide. I don't know. I just, it's something that never hit me with that. Never resonated like that with anything to that level. But I think it ultimately just comes down to the fact that I said it in my post on Twitter that there is no telling my story without the story of Akira Toriyama's works throughout every stage of my life. And that's just true. That's true. I was watching Thundershot's video, a great video, Theon's video as well, Rhyme's video. I've pretty much seen every video everybody's done, but Thunder put it really eloquently, as well as some other posts on Twitter I saw. I don't want anybody to think I'm just trying to wrongly attribute quotes, but Thunder said it for sure. That if you think of Akira Toriyama as a tree, I am so far down the root of influence that it's just like, it's crazy to think just how many people this man was able to influence and change the world. Again, Thunder said this, but it's almost impossible to imagine my life without drag. I mean, it is impossible to imagine my life without the influence of his works. And Thunder said he's one of the most influential people ever. And he said that felt like exaggeration, but I honestly agree. I mean, what does the world look like without Dragon Ball? Its influence is too far and too deep and Dragon Quest too. Dragon Quest, by the way, is huge. It's crazy. And so many things. Without him, the world wouldn't even look remotely like what it does today. I think my world, especially. And I don't want this to sound super self-centered. I just really want to. The only way I can present this is through the medium of my experiences. So I hope that doesn't come off as self-centered at all. I guess it's how I want to praise him, and because again, I owe everything, and literally everything. There's no better way to put that. But and this is a philosophical thing, but I view one of the best things you can do as a human being is leaving the planet a better place than you found it. I almost think all else just pales in comparison to that. It's really just about being a good person, having your fun in this lifetime, and making it better for those that come after you. And even without the personal attachment, I can really admire what Akira Toriyama did, because through the medium of his art, I mean, it's just crazy how you won't find a bad thing being said about this guy. It's just all thank yous and uplifting smiles. And even when it's not, it's just like through the inspiration of his work and how many things have spun off that and made people happy in other ways. I guess I just really value making people happy. And I'm just so impressed by his stature, his lifelike feeling. I was talking to an artist today on Discord. I don't want to say who, because I don't know where they are. I mean, I will. I know who they are. I'll distribute them if they feel comfortable and they happen to be listening to this. I just know they're. But he basically said, like, yeah, it feels weird. He already had this legendary like aura to him. Let me not misquote him. Let me try to pull this up here. This heavenly figure. And I agree. He had this stature that he was larger than life. Life was not something that could hold him down, I guess, in a way. It's like the same way I feel about artists like Leonardo da Vinci. It's like you hear that name, it's like, okay, dude, like that's time is not the same prison as it is for maybe like all of us. Like some people, and I'm not trying to talk them up. I'm just saying some people can escape that realm of being human in a sense of just only existing within the frame of their natural life. And Toriyama's works and legacies, not even a joke, will live on for thousands and thousands of years and may permeate like forever. Like as long as humans exist, I think the influence of his work may still carry on, just because that's how crazy of a job he did. I know for me, there will never be a moment of my life where, and I'm going to pass it down to my children as well, that his work hasn't influenced me. So now I just kind of want to take some time, because that was a bit extra abstract, and just go into like some things that really made me happy and I really appreciated about his work. A few of this will be coming from just stuff I already shared on Twitter, so I'm sorry if it feels repetitive to any of you. I just can't stop feeling thankful. But I'm never going to forget. I think I've made every friend I've ever had through Dragon Ball. I used to live on this tiny cul-de-sac, and this kid who was, I think, way older than me. I'm not even gonna lie. He was way older than me. We were as different as you can be. But we liked playing Dragon Ball games. Both of us did. We also just liked the show. And so it was just so funny. He was like, I think in middle school, and I was in like grade school. You can't even picture how different we were. But we would play the Dragon Ball games, and it was awesome. It was really fun. And then every now and then I'd get to go over to his house, and we'd go into the back corner of his house. And I just remember it being so dark and cold, and it was the vibe was awesome, I guess is what I'm pretty much saying. And then on this tiny CRT TV, we would be playing Budokai 2, I think, or whichever game has the game board. And we'd be going through, we made like our own game rules of like, we would take turns and get to these spaces, and each play is a different character. And it was so much fun. And then when I would eventually, fuck it up, or maybe like he got caught off guard by a Cyberman. I just remember a Cyberman getting us. That's really all I remember. But eventually we get to the point of the night where we'd lose or we'd play against each other and we just get bored. And then we'd be like, all right, it's time to watch some Dragon Ball. And we would turn on the Raditz saga, because I think he had like VCRs. I can't really remember. I honestly don't remember how this stuff, maybe it was just on TV. But we would watch like the Raditz stuff, and then I specifically remember we'd watch some movies, and it was so awesome, man. We would watch Dragon Ball all night, basically. It was so sick. It was the most fun I've ever had. And then moving on from that age, I mean, obviously the Dragon Ball love didn't stop there. I would still talk about it, play whatever games I had every day, meet friends. But skipping forward to around middle school, this would be about the time that Kai is coming on TV. I'd watch that with my little sister. We'd watch Dragon Ball Z Kai as I'd watch the story for the first time through her eyes and her reactions to it. That was really fun. And also just seeing it, HD, man. Kai was so cool. Great theme song. Early middle school, maybe even before this, is around the time that I would actually discover what manga and anime is. I didn't even know before that. That's how different Dragon Ball is. I just thought it was a great show. It was just a great thing. But that'd probably be around the time I found out what mangas were with things like Naruto. But obviously in this case, more so focused on after Naruto, I found that Dragon Ball had a manga, and I loved looking through the pages, and the art style was so cool. Like early Saiyan Saga Goku, Namek Saga Goku is just like the coolest art I think any human being will ever draw. I don't think it's ever going to be topped for me. But it's just how I feel, man. It's just, he's too clean. He's too good at what he does. And yeah, so reading that becoming a new passion. But then again, getting back to middle school, I met my friends, and again, more Dragon Ball memories here. They obviously were fans of Dragon Ball as well. Most people are, but I just have distinct memories of one time I hung my head over the trampoline backwards, and then I like whipped it up real fast. I had long hair at the time, and they were like, "Oh, bro, you look like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan there for a second." And I didn't really go into this too much on my Twitter post, but I can't tell you how fucking cool I felt, dude. Like when they said that, I was like, holy shit. Like maybe I should like do that like before going to school. Like I should actually do that, maybe get some gel. That's why it sticks out in my memory, because I really thought I was him for a second. But yeah, I mean, I still have Let's Plays recording Raging Blast 2 with these guys on a long defunct YouTube channel way before I did what I do now. And I have a video of me playing Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2, recording it with a camcorder, and pointing it at the screen. I think Raging Blast had replays. I think that's how I did it. But when I couldn't do that, I would just have one in one hand and a controller in the other. And I was talking about how Ultimate Tenkaichi was going to be the greatest game of all time. That didn't end up being true, but it was still cool. And I was super excited, man. So yeah, playing Dragon Ball games with all of my friends obviously just made us so much closer. And these are friends for life. These are still my best friends, some of my best friends to this day. Yeah, I wouldn't trade those memories for the world. Also in middle school around this time, Dragon Ball, I mean, there was just a lot of stuff that I had to do that, I mean, not to sound like a sob story, but, you know, I just didn't like, I would say I was definitely like, I had some middle school depression arcs, you know, just kid stuff growing up, I'm sure. But in between that time, I'd watch anime, and I think I went through Dragon Ball GT at around this time. And, you know, getting to the end of Dragon Ball GT was probably one of the last times I've cried, not counting now, I guess. But one of the last times I bawled my eyes out, dude, was the ending of GT. It felt very similar to this, honestly, just in a less real world sad way, because it's just a fictional character, Goku. But Goku saying goodbye also felt like a piece of my childhood literally said, "Hey man, good luck in the real world, because, you know, it's time for me to go." And then he bounced, and I don't know, that shit hit so hard. And it's that same note of sadness that kind of felt this way, because I guess with Goku, I was like, oh, he says goodbye, but I can rewind. But with the creator and the spirit behind those things I really liked, moving on, it just, yeah, it felt like that spirit, you know, like it really said goodbye this time. So that was that. I think that's what I was grappling with the most. But I have to remind myself that spirit is still there, and it will continue to exist forever. It's not something that goes. It's something that once created, there is no end of it. The only time it ends is when the people that inherited it stop passing it on. So that's what I tell myself. That's what I truly believe, and it makes it hurt less and makes me want to be grateful more. So, I mean, damn. Moving on, it just yeah, middle school was a great time for Dragon Ball. Loved it. This was also around the time man, people make fun of Battle of Z, but what was it? It was Christmas, right, when the Battle of Z demo came out on Xbox Live. I just remember running around the house, and I was way too old to be running around the house for this, but hey man, if I could be honest, I've always been a bit of a weird guy here, you know, loser on the streets, but liking Dragon Ball is not what made me a loser, but yeah, I was running around and I was like, oh my god, Battle of Z, it's like multiplayer Dragon Ball. Wow, dude, this is the greatest Christmas of all time. And the demo was just so sick. It was so sick. Or maybe it was just an announcement. I can't really remember, but I just remember I saw it. I saw what it was going to be, and I was like, oh my God. So sick. Oh, let me tell one more story just because this one's funny. My friend got Ultimate Tenkaichi. This is the same friend that owned the trampoline. He's like, "You gonna buy that, man?" I was like, "You know, I know I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, but you good, man? I think I'm only gonna play that at your house." He was like, "Are you serious?" And then I don't know. It was just, I don't know. That's just a funny story. But getting into high school, Dragon Ball would continue, obviously, to be a very big thing for me. I'm just, again, a huge fan. I would say predominantly at this stage, this is around the time when Super and stuff, not just Super, but Battle of Gods and stuff were coming back. I remember where I was at my second friend's house, the same one that I hung out in middle school, but not the one that owned trampoline. Sorry, I'm getting confused. I just don't want to name names, and it's not too important. But I was at his house, and I opened up the computer, and I saw that they were going to do a series again, and Dragon Ball was coming back. It was going to take place before the time skip. I was so excited, and then but they were going to continue on with the changing hair colors or something. I just remember seeing blue hair, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of stupid, bro. Yeah, blue, Super Saiyan Blue. It's just, I mean, I'm glad it's back, but it's just dumb. But I was wrong. I was completely wrong. Super Saiyan Blue ended up becoming my favorite form. I just think it captured, especially with the use of Kaioken, it's just so cool, and the color looks great, and goes to show what I know about art. Completely the right decision, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of that. And Super ended up being amazing all the way through. The movies, loved them. Couldn't have asked for anything better. And man, going through Super, it's just, in its early stages, yeah, it was a bit rough artistically. I never really minded that though, because we already had movie counterparts to that. And yeah, it had its low points, but that's going to come with seasonal anime. Visually, I think most importantly is that it kept me tuning in, and just the characters, I liked where they were going, and I was always just so tapped in. I was just so in it. I was so excited. Something I watched every single week, and wanted to talk about and look things up. And this was also probably around the time that Xenoverse was first coming out. That was definitely in a high school thing, because oh man, dude, Xenoverse was a crazy time to be a Dragon Ball fan. It felt like we were so back, like we were on top. Like everybody was talking about Xenoverse. Everybody in my high school had Xenoverse builds. We missed school one time to play Xenoverse. We planned it out. And that really helped me. You know, high school was probably where I made the least amount of friends and did the most amount of social separation on my own accord. But it was just so cool. Like, again, this creation, how deep it permeated. I know I'm not the only one, because I've lived around and been friends with so many people that love Dragon Ball. And Xenoverse really reminds me of that spirit, because I spent 6 hours grinding for Super Saiyan with my friend, and he barely got it at the end. And then Xenoverse 2, and that was great. And it's just something that's been at every major stage of my life, and the influence runs so deep. I owe all of the best moments of my life to that series, and the work of this great artist who sadly moved on. And yeah. I just want to, I don't know. I just want to keep talking about it, especially get to this point, because this is really just what I'm the most thankful for is, as things went on and I was just not doing things right by myself and for myself. And I was just not a good person, I think. I was in a Checkers drive-through. And I just looked down at my phone and I saw Dragon Ball FighterZ was coming out. And I know what this sounds like. I totally get it. But it was like the one thing that I cared about. I was so happy. I was sick. It combined two of my interests. It looked great. It was awesome. I don't know. It combined. When I say two of my interests, I mean two of my only interests. It was so good. It was too good to be true. And I still to this day think that Dragon Ball FighterZ is just on another level of human create. Things don't get like hyped up like that and then deliver like that. Rarely is something that's hyped also deliver. I was so impressed. And a large part of that is how well it captured the spirit of Dragon Ball. It was so true to it, and it replicated the scenes from the manga so well in their dramatic finishes and stuff. Mostly, I just want to focus on how it was there for me when it just felt like life was not breaking my way. That broke my way in an insane way. And it was the one thing I wanted to talk about. I was so excited about it. And that led me to, by very direct lines, Dragon Ball led me to changing my life. I uploaded a video on Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I was so happy. And my friends were so sick of me only talking about that I had to get that energy out. have it to bounce. It didn't have a, Thunder said this as well in his video, but not having an outlet to bounce that energy off of in your real life. Not that I didn't, I overused my outlet. I'm not saying it was their fault. I did, but I went to the internet and my life, I'm not even joking. And this is not I guess my headspace wasn't super positive, but my life was about making sure as many people could enjoy Dragon Ball FighterZ as possible. So that I could enjoy Dragon Ball FighterZ as much as possible, and that it would have a community for ages to come, and I could always play it and turn back to it. But yeah, Dragon Ball very directly made it so that I had a life, that I had a job, that I have, some of the best friends I've met. All the friends I've met online are through fighters, and through Dragon Ball, and all those discussions and talking about it. It's so cool. And then that led me here today to this podcast, which is all about Dragon Ball. And then we talk about some other stuff, but the core of it, the soul of it is definitely from me and Nano's mutual love for Dragon Ball. And I don't want to speak for Nano here, but I'm sure Nano has an experience similar to mine, in the sense that he's also just a huge fan. He loves it, and I love it too. And everybody that was deeply affected by this, I think, had a very deep love for Dragon Ball. And I don't think that's sad. I think that's one of the greatest things any human being can accomplish, is creating something, leaving the world a better place. And to do that through a medium of art is a feat that very rarely is ever accomplished. So thank you, Akira Toriyama. Your work exists on a different plane. And my respect to you is undying. And I lack the skill and control of my language to fully put together a sense of just how much you have given me. And I thank you for just everything. But thank you for your work. Sorry I got so emotional there. I don't know. It's just, I really do owe the guy a lot for somebody I've never met. So thank you, Akira Toriyama. You are a legend. Your influence on the world is one that will never be forgotten. And yeah, I think, like I said, I've mostly gotten past the emotional stage of it all. And I just love reading people's kind-hearted and good experience, and just, I guess, experiences that with Akira Toriyama's works that inspire them and move them, and they still reminisce fondly on today. And if you have any of those, I'd love to see them down below in the comments. And please, just, whenever a moment like this happens in life, please remember to let your friends and family know that you care for them, and you try to make the world a better place. I think that's the thing to focus on. Is I've already seen it on Twitter. I know there's people that are, coming into this and trying to, do some negative things on the internet. And I think what's important to realize is that Akira Toriyama left such a positive impact, and we should pick up and try to spread that positivity and take a moment to reflect, appreciate, show gratitude, and then keep that spirit alive. I think it's on us to keep that spirit alive of that gift he's given us, and push it forward. Keep just making good stuff, making good memories with your friends, making the world around you a better place, like he did, and set such an amazing example before us. Through whatever that is, your passions, just your kindness. It's not just an art thing. I want to make that clear. It's not just a creation thing. It's just a human thing. It's a human thing. So yeah, that's pretty much, I'm just rambling. I've been rambling the whole video, but thank you for everything, Akira Toriyama. And thank you guys for understanding why we felt the need to not go ahead with the podcast today. But yeah, that's it for me. Appreciate you guys listening. And yeah, I hope you're all doing good.